Welcome along everyone to Silverstone. Britain has returned the highest number of F1 World Champions of any country that's taken part in this glorious sport. We take our racing very seriously here, as you can tell here today, at the British Grand Prix. The 3.6-mile long Silverstone circuit is one of the longest of the season, with 18 corners in the current layout. With average lap speeds reaching around 145 miles per hour, it's also one of the quickest tracks of the year. Watch out for cars taking the right-handers of Abbey and of Copse flat out. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Sergio Perez will lead us away from pole position, and a very happy Carlos Sainz will start second. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Norris, Leclerc, Oscar Piastri, Verstappen, Tsunoda, Fernando Alonso, Stroll, Ricciardo, Hamilton, Russell, Gasly, Sargent, Hülkenberg, Magnussen, Albon, Joe, Bottas, and Esteban Ocon lines up at the back of the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track. And alongside me today, former Formula One driver and former world champion too. See, told you I'll give you a big intro. Anthony Davidson, hello. I know what we've got to do before the start of today's race, but what about our driver? What do the final hours look like for them?
Well, for them, you've got your pre-race rituals that you go through. You see different drivers that, some have got their headphones on, they're listening to the music. Some drivers really absorb the energy from the crowd and they're there waving to them. Other drivers, they go within themselves. They chat to their engineers, absorbing that information, that vital information that you need to carry you through the race. And, those pre-race rituals are essential to making things systematic. We do a lot of Grand Prix in a season, and the more systematic you can be, the easier you are within that environment.
Now use DRS. DRS now available. work. That's a new fastest lap of the race. Final lap, push, push.
Big thank you to all the fans here out, you guys.
And as we've said so many times in the past, the checkered flag is out for our winner, Lewis Hamilton.
A great team victory today, Crofty. That's the important bit here. On home soil, the drivers delivered, the team delivered as well, and to do that in front of their home support really means a lot to them.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners. And with that, we wrap